If you're interested in learning to trade on Betfair, then visit the BetAngel Academy, where you have detailed, structured Betfair trading courses. Or why not visit our website where you can download a free trial of BetAngel Professional, but also visit the forum where you can get detailed images, examples, and downloadable files. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and click on the bell icon if you want notification of new videos as they're released. So where could you have made money in the English Premier League this season? What I'm going to present to you here is an interesting way of looking at this, and it's a slightly different way to what you would have seen before. And also, this gives you like the truth. This tells you where the opportunity was, and also sort of hints at where teams are excelling or struggling. So, what do I have behind me? What are we looking at overall in the scheme of things here? Well, let me explain how it's laid out first of all. So, if you look at the graph in the middle, this is basically indicating to you that the team is performing to expectations. What do we mean by to expectations? Well, this means that the odds that have been offered on that particular team have more or less matched the results that they've got. So when we see a team that's right in the middle of this, in this particular case it's Newcastle, what this is saying is that Newcastle have performed pretty much as expected home and away. So if you'd have backed or laid Newcastle, you would have ended up smack bang in the middle of nothing. You would have made nothing, you would have lost nothing. But outside of the middle of that image that we can see is a whole range of different options that express outperformance or underperformance on a different level. And in a nutshell, this tells you exactly where you could have made money if you would have been pursuing any strategy. Because if you think about it, if you were pursuing a backing strategy for a team to win, that underlying characteristic then permeates right through the market. So if you're betting on a team to win, or being in the lead at some point, or scoring a certain number of goals, or more goals than the other team, then that strategy will run right through the core of any betting or trading strategy that you have. So if we look a little bit deeper at what we see here, we can explain over and underperformance. So anybody in this quadrant over here is basically outperforming overall. So we can tell so far this season, Spurs are outperforming again. And part of this would be because, they didn't sign any new players, lots of other teams did, and therefore the market has marked them down. So if you backed Spurs or did any trading strategy that involved Spurs being in the lead or winning away or at home, you would have made plenty of money this year. But you can see that the home performance runs along the bottom here. So you can see that Spurs have been winning at home more frequently than you would typically expect, but their away performance is off the scale. It's much, much higher than everybody else within the league. So they have performed miracles away relative to the odds that were being offered. So basically any strategy to do with Spurs winning a game or scoring a goal would have performed particularly well this year. You can see that Liverpool have sort of done better than expected home and away, but not as much as Spurs, but generally they are performing pretty well. So overall, if you look at Liverpool, performing slightly above expectations. So again, backing or Liverpool to win home or away would have produced a result, or a derivative strategy of backing or expecting Liverpool to be in the lead. Hopefully you understand where I'm coming from here. But you can generally see really that if we look at, Burnley appears on this list as well. So what this is telling you is the market has consistently mispriced Burnley, and in fact they have outperformed, albeit ever so slightly. They've performed slightly better at home than they were expected to, but they're pretty much around expectations when we're looking at playing away. But Bournemouth, Watford, West Ham, Liverpool, Wolves and Spurs are all net overperformers. It doesn't matter what strategy that you deployed with them, as long as it was for them to win, you would gain. So any strategy that involves that on those teams would have profited this season. You would have also profited by backing Arsenal at home, backing Man City at home, Brighton at home and Cardiff at home. All of those would have been net positive strategies. But if you would have backed them to win away, you would have lost money over the course of the season. Over in this corner up here, what we're looking at here is a net performance away that is better than you would expect. Got there eventually. But they've been playing worse at home. So up here is playing better away and at home. Here is playing better at home but not away. Up here is playing better away, but not at home. So these teams have underperformed at home. If you would have backed, no surprise here, Southampton, Crystal Palace, Chelsea, Leicester or Man United, you would have lost money when they were playing at home. However, if you would have backed them when you were playing away, or a derivative strategy thereof, then you would have made money. So these teams here haven't played very well at home, but have generally performed quite well or above expectations when they've been playing away. So the quadrant that you don't want to be in is this one down here, because this is the Quadrant of Doom, effectively. So you can see it's no surprise really to see Huddersfield over here, because their home performance and their away performance has been below expectations, and the expectations weren't fantastic to start the season. So you can see that they're performing much worse than you expect. They're performing poorly relative to the odds that are being offered to them. You can see Fulham down here as well. Their away form is absolutely atrocious. Their home form isn't too bad, but it's still below par. And then we've got Everton as well. So, considering the amount of money that Everton have paid this year for star players, this is a really, really poor performance. And there is speculation over whether they're going to sack their manager. But if I looked at this graph from a strategic perspective at the boardroom of a club, you'd have to question whether Everton have got things right here. But also, teams tend to come under pressure if they don't win at home. So teams over in this half would tend to have the fans on their backs much more than teams over on this half. Because if you're winning at home, you can sort of get away with not performing so well away from home. But if you're performing poorly at home and a little bit better away, your fans don't tend to get to see that. And if you're in this bottom quadrant here, then you're in real trouble, basically, because your performance really is quite poor. So yeah, I monitor information like this as the season progresses and how teams are moving around. So, the best way to have shown this, and I'm not going to do it because it would take too long, would be to time lapse it from the start of the season to now. And then you'll gradually see if teams are improving or declining in their overall fortunes and the impact that that's having. So yeah, it's an interesting and it's an unusual way. I don't think I've seen many people look at the league in this particular manner, but it gives you a sense of what teams are overperforming, why they're overperforming, but it's all relative. You can still have a team down in this lower quadrant here that is still relatively in a good position in the league, because it's all about relative performance. But in a nutshell, basically, if you back teams that are performing above expectations or have a trading strategy that relies upon that, whether it's to do with the match odds market or a derivative market within football, then you would have profited. And by understanding that and looking at this, this gives you a view as to where net performance is over the course of the season and allows you to pick off more profitable opportunities.